Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about the commissioner hire and all the things that are happening there.
Chair Tobin, I just wanted to add, for those that have been here before, and again, this is Lacey Sanders, sorry about that. The Department of Education did move locations. So formerly we were located at the Michael J. Burns building. Now we're located in the State Office building on the 9th floor. We've joined the Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development on their floor. We had the ability to do that because we have recognized that our world has changed to a more teleworking friendly environment, and so where appropriate, we've been able to do that. And so I do think Commissioner Teschner is right on. The morale in the department is good, and we're happy to be in our new location. So if you ever come looking for us, that's where we're located. So just wanted to add that in there. Thank you.
They've moved back to the State Office building. It's where they were before.
Through the chair, Senator Keel, good point. Thank you.
Well, I do see that we have our Tribal Affairs Director online, and I am curious, as we've talked a lot about culturally responsive education, and I would love to hear a little bit more about what does that look like, or what are we doing in those areas?
Chair Tobin, I know that I feel like we're doing so many things, but I know that even Director McKenzie and Mr. Isaac have been looking into what immersion programs, for example, currently exist. I know that we're really looking into what LKSD has done in Bethel through their program. And so, Director McKenzie and Mr. Isaac have received copies of their materials and really looking into it and looking to go out and visit and learn more about what they've done to what can we replicate more statewide. We know good examples exist, so we're trying to find those good examples. We're also really trying to figure out what is it going to take to build a screener and other materials in the multiple languages that we have. So Mr. Isaac has been looking into that as well. We're looking to potentially use some of our COVID reserve funding to help start that process, because it's going to take some time, and finding the people to do that, I think is going to be the challenging part. But I don't know if Mr. Isaac wants to elaborate more on specifically what he's been doing.
Yes, this is Joel Isaac, Director of Tribal Affairs for the Department of Education and Early Development. To the Chair, Tobin, thank you, Janan, for the question. There's several things we've been doing since COVID started. Some of them have been around presenting at the Science of Reading Symposium last April on what it looks like to teach reading through a culturally appropriate or cultural-based lens, and also in target languages. And there was two presentations on that. The state board passed regulations that included Alaska Native languages as world languages to explicitly state that, and also add pieces around seal of biliteracy, which is world languages and Alaska Native languages. So some of the other focus we've been doing at the department is around targeted pieces of Alaska Native specific education components, but also broader to include other cultures than just Alaska Native cultures. So we're working at finding the balance and the processes of how to do that. We have established an Alaska Native education newsletter, which when we started had about 250 recipients who'd signed up for it, and we're at over 700 in less than a year. So those are just some of the highlights for that. We are also this year, Director McKenzie and I have been working together talking about what it looks like to support Alaska Native languages as part of the Science of Reading Symposium. And so there's going to be a pre-conference, so Alaska Native Language Summit, as the pre-conference day on Thursday leading up to the Science of Reading Symposium, to support what it looks like to learn to read in an Alaska Native language, but also what do our Alaska Native languages need. And those are just some highlights for what we've been doing at the department around tribal education, but also bringing in other cultural components as well and considerations around how we deliver education. I'll pause there.
Senator Stevens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, it's good to hear you online, Joel. I wonder if you could sort of bring us up to date on what's happening with tribal schools and federal funding. Do you have any? Can you report on where that is right now, where it's going?
Through the chair, Senator Stevens. If the question is around federal funding for K-12 operation and constructions of schools, that is something that what's known as federally as the Stevens rider is still in place. We did have conversations with a Senate congressional field hearing about it in last May, talking about some of the components that surround that. And so those conversations happening at the federal level. There also are conversations the department, myself, has been having with the Department of Education, which is different than the Bureau of Indian Education. So I'm trying to separate those two federal agencies. So we've been talking with the Department of Education around how they issue specific Alaska Native language grants or specific Alaska Native education grants to Alaska, and how those funding mechanisms can better be suited to meet the needs of tribes in Alaska. And some in-the-weeds technical pieces about what definitions of what our tribes called for the sake of granting and how reporting mechanisms are established to meet state and federal reporting requirements. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Joel.
Wonderful. If there are no other questions today, all right, well, that concludes our agenda. The next meeting of Senate Education Committee will be on Wednesday, January 25th from 3:30 to 5 p.m. here in the Belts Committee Room. At that meeting, we will be hearing presentations about the fiscal challenges facing public education in Alaska. We'll hear from the Alaska Council of School Administrators, the Coalition for Education Equity, the Association of Alaska School Boards, and NEA Alaska. On Friday, we'll be meeting on January 27th to receive a rural perspective. We will have presentations from the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District Superintendent Clayton Holland and Northwest Arctic Borough School District Superintendent Terry Walker. We'll also receive a presentation from the University of Alaska's Institute for Social and Economic Research detailing their research on education funding here in Alaska. That presentation should be on basis and it's entitled, How Much Does Alaska Spend on K-12 Education? I think it's going to be very informative. My sincerest thanks to the Department of Education and Early Development for helping us with our hearing today, especially Commissioner Teschner and Deputy Commissioner Sanders. I know we'll be seeing you a lot more this session, and I look forward to it. I also want to thank all my members here in Senate Education, definitely for your commitment to public education and your hard work right here on the front lines, but also for putting up with me for my very first committee hearing. I thank you so much. If there is no other business today, the first meeting of the Senate Education Committee for the 33rd Legislature is adjourned here at 4:31 p.m.
Hi again. Sorry about all of the sputtering and stuttering that we had going on with the live feed there. I literally, the entire time that they were talking, I have been on the phone with MTA trying to find out why my network is crashing and why the live feed to Restream was crashing. I'm showing positive, solid connections. They're not showing any dropping rates. They don't understand it. The only thing I can think of at this point is Restream itself is having issues, and because I could not keep connected to it. But it also doesn't explain why Gavel is stalling out and we're watching the swirly, and I had to restart them back up to just be able to get their video to continue playing. hopefully you caught enough of this. I know I did. I heard plenty of what I wanted to hear come from the Department of Education and Early Development. They made it very clear where they stand at with what they are doing. It is all about show me the money, and the head honcho, the chair, the new Tolman, however you say her name, I will get it down before too long, because she has co-sponsored just about every bill that is out there that pushes the extremist agenda that the majority of Alaskans wish we could see get out of Juneau. And listening to the narrative and then listening to her campaign for the Department of Education and their paid for speech that they're going to be giving on Saturday, inviting all legislators to come to this. They will provide food and entertainment, and they will make sure that every legislator that shows up to will be highly catered to using our taxpayers' dollars so that they can get educated why they need more money so that they can waste it on things like what they're doing right now, having a private get-together with all the Alaska state legislators down there in Juneau and this Saturday. And this is the type of games, this is why they held the legislative session in Juneau. Only the special interests have the money to be able to go there and sit there on a daily basis and lobby these legislators for what they want. Us everyday Alaskans, you, me, everybody else that's having to pay for this with our taxes, we don't get but 3 minutes on a telephone when they allow us to testify, maybe once or twice, sometimes 3 times, on a particular bill. But when it comes to the Alaska state budget for what they're spending in the finance committees and their end budget, we don't really get any say in that. We get 3 minutes, maybe once, maybe twice during the whole thing, and that is all we will get for comment period when it comes to spending our money. But those lobbyists, as you can see with the education department, they had how many hours here today? An hour and a half? Get ready. We've got tomorrow or tonight, starting at 7 o'clock, 2 different things that are going on. We've got the governor giving the State of the State address for Alaska. So Governor Dunleavy will be on at 7 o'clock on KTOO at Gavel, or you can watch them also probably here on Facebook on the governor's page, giving the State of Alaska address. And then also at 7 o'clock, I will be live streaming at Alaska School of Government. And give me just a second, I'll pull up exactly what that is that I am doing there at the Alaska School of Government tonight. And we will be hearing from, I know, just a sec. All right, understanding the threat is what the focus of what tonight's discussion is going to be about. I will go and get the person's name here. John Guandolan, founder and understanding of the threat. Check them out if you haven't done so already. They can be found at understandingthethreat.com. Very interesting stuff that will be discussed there tonight. I'm not even going to pretend I even understand what it is all about, but I know they've been trying to talk me into going to their classes. It is about bringing security back to our nation, the republic that we were built on, not the democracy that they have created for us now that they want us to believe is what our republic is. We will always be a republic, not a democracy, and that is one word we need to get conservatives out there to quit using when it comes to talking about our nation and our state. We live in a republic, not a democracy, and we need to make sure we stand strong on our values for that. So at 7 o'clock tonight, Alaska School of Government, I'll be streaming that. And again, you can also catch the governor and his State of the State address at 7 p.m. this evening. Pick your poison, which one you want to sit through, and go for there. Also, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I will be back on. It will be the Senate Finance Committee at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We will be getting to hear their audit on SB 40. And Senate Bill 40 is what the budget for the state of Alaska, their proposed budget for the state of Alaska, is going to look like or be like. So it'll be our first time to hear all the committees that I have streamed up to this point. Now we get to finally hear what they took from those meetings and how they were going to apply it to this upcoming budget that they are crafting in the 33rd legislative session there in Juneau, Alaska. This is where the real critical